2024 was chaos for the car industry, a financial demolition derby that sent shockwaves worldwide. Factories stalled, showrooms gathered dust, and millions felt it everywhere. From Detroit to Dusseldorf, the tremors were global. Buckle up. Let's see what went wrong and what comes next. Now, who was actually making cars in 2024? Or rather, who wasn't? Global production looked like a lopsided seesaw. On one end, Europe, Japan, North America, the traditional giants, all struggling. The EU saw production plummet by 12%, Japan dropped nearly 10%, North America down 8%. Factories in Michigan and Ontario slowed to a crawl. The old guard was stumbling, wondering where all the orders had gone. But here's the twist: China. While others hit the brakes, China floored it. Production up 15%. They weren't just building for themselves, but for the world. South America too saw a modest rise. Brazil and Argentina edged up 3 to 4%. So, the global picture? The established empires shrank, their factories idling. Meanwhile, China churned out vehicles like there was no tomorrow. South America proved quietly resilient. In a year of contraction, any growth was a miracle. The automotive map was redrawn, fast. The old titans faltered, and new players seized the wheel. The industry's center of gravity shifted east and south. What a difference a year makes. If production was chaotic, sales were just as wild. In the EU, car sales tanked, down 14%. Dealerships became graveyards for unsold cars. Japan saw sales fall 11%. People clung to their old vehicles, wary of the future. North America, a 5 to 6% dip. Not catastrophic, but the belt was tightening. But in China, it was a different story. Sales jumped 10%. Chinese consumers, buoyed by a growing middle class and government incentives, snapped up everything from budget EVs to luxury SUVs. The dragon wasn't just making cars, it was buying them too. Elsewhere, Southeast Asia and India showed some resilience, but not enough to offset the massive drops. The result? China became the undisputed center of the automotive world, both in making and buying cars. Traditional markets in Europe and Japan were left asking, where did our customers go? The answer? East. The sales divide was stark, and the industry's future was shifting fast. The world's biggest car market was no longer in the West. The rules of the game had changed, and the rest of the world was scrambling to catch up. The new automotive era had arrived. Let's zoom in on Europe, because 2024 was brutal. European carmakers faced falling demand at home and fierce competition from abroad, especially China. Factory slowdowns, single shifts, even closures became common. Production down 12%, sales down 14%. Imports of Chinese EVs surged, undercutting local brands. It was like a bakery facing a hyper-efficient cake factory next door, one that gives away free sprinkles. Legacy automakers with higher costs struggled to match China's price and speed. The transition to EVs, once Europe's great hope, became a source of pain. Billions invested, but Chinese brands got there faster and cheaper. The pride of European industry sputtered. Calls for tariffs and subsidies echoed through Brussels and Berlin. Meanwhile, Chinese EVs kept arriving, affordable, advanced, and tempting for cost-conscious consumers. Europe's car industry was stuck between a slowdown and a Shenzhen. The existential threat was real. The old continent's automotive crown was slipping. The debate raged, but the market kept shifting. Europe's car makers faced a crossroads: adapt or fade. The pressure was on. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about people. The great car crash of 2024 cost tens, even hundreds of thousands of jobs worldwide. In regions like the American Midwest and industrial Europe, the impact was devastating. These weren't just jobs, they were lifelines for families and communities. When a factory cut shifts or closed, the ripple effects were enormous. Local shops, restaurants, and housing markets all suffered. The sense of security vanished overnight. Families faced tough choices: move, retrain, or struggle to pay the bills. The anxiety was the same from Wolfsburg to Windsor. And it wasn't just assembly line workers. Designers, engineers, marketers, suppliers, and dealers all felt the pain. For every job lost in a plant, several more disappeared in related industries. It was a domino effect of hardship. The emotional toll was immense: stress, uncertainty, and a sense of being left behind. For many, the auto industry was a source of pride and stability. Seeing that threatened was a profound blow. The crash was deeply personal for millions. Communities rallied, but the scars ran deep. The human cost will take years to heal. This was more than an economic crisis. It was a crisis of identity. The world's assembly lines stopped, and so did countless dreams. The road to recovery would be long. You'd think governments would help, right? Not quite. In many cases, their policies made things worse. Take electric vehicles. Governments pushed hard, but execution was a mess. Subsidies were confusing, inconsistent, and sometimes vanished overnight. Car makers couldn't plan. Consumers hesitated. Charging infrastructure lagged far behind the hype. Range anxiety was real. People worried about getting stranded. The push for EVs ignored the millions of jobs tied to traditional engines. The transition felt rushed and poorly managed. Workers resented being left behind. Factories retooled for EVs only to find demand wasn't there, or that cheaper imports flooded the market. Policy, instead of steadying the industry, often made the chaos worse. It was a masterclass in how to manage a major shift. The result: confusion, resentment, and missed opportunities. The industry needed guidance, but got a detour into the ditch. After all that, is there hope? Some experts say yes. The car isn't dead, just reinventing itself. But real change is needed. The industry can't just wait for the nightmare to end. Innovation is key. Breakthroughs in batteries, smarter factories, and sustainable materials. The winners will embrace change, not cling to the past. This is a tech race now, not just manufacturing. Policy must be smarter, clear, consistent, and long-term. Invest in charging infrastructure, support R&D, retrain workers, and coordinate globally. Businesses need stability, not constant surprises. And don't forget the basics: quality, safety, and sustainability. People want reliable, eco-friendly cars. Companies that build trust will thrive. The road to recovery will be long and bumpy, but the car industry has reinvented itself before. With innovation, smart policy, and a focus on real needs, it can steer out of this wreck. The time to act is now. The world is watching. The next chapter is being written. Will the industry rise again? That's up to all of us.